one area we've seen it a lot in startups and in the edtech space is that there's a big movement to replace the teacher. In terms of like scaling anything in education, teachers always seem to be the limiting factor. And then you see a lot of stuff happening in AI teacher tools or AI teachers. Well, some classes in, I can't remember in which country, but where Panda, an AI generated Panda, would be the one teaching fourth graders. What do you think, like, what is the role of the teacher in a class? Do you think we should be, as a society, trying to AIify or replace the teacher? Do you think we can? We'd just love to hear your thoughts on that movement and that process.
Gosh, this is my opinion, and only time will tell if that opinion is correct. But I think this movement on replacing the teacher, I don't subscribe to it, mainly because if we go back to the conversation, if we just look at a child as a logical being or as a receptacle we have to shove information into, like shove quadratic equations, shove Pythagoras theorem, shove all of knowledge into the brain, then sure, AI is fantastic, and it can be done without teachers. But if you take a look at the child as a human being with emotions and with resistances and all of that, then, or a child that will grow up to become a human being in the world, and the quality of person that they are will define the quality of the world. If they are selfless, if they are selfish, if they are how they deal with their emotions, how they deal with intellect. And I think a human teacher is important for that aspect. Mm. So I don't subscribe to the movement of trying to replace the teacher with the bot. It's coming from a business perspective, like, oh, that's more scalable. And AI is a lot more scalable, I'll make money. I think that's where that comes from. I don't subscribe to it, but only time will tell. I do think that the role of the teacher is to facilitate the social process of learning. The learning can then happen via Khan Academy, which is technically a bot, via books, which is also a very rudimentary bot, very scalable, right? But the teacher will be there to have to facilitate the social process, to make the child excited, to make the child relate, to address the emotions of the child.
Yeah, no, I think, agreed very much on where the industry is moving in regards to this and how the role of the teacher needs to move to more guiding the social process of learning, and why that's so hard to replace with AI, right? Like emotions and being able to understand one another, maybe at the point if we have AGI, cool. But until that point, I don't think computers are going to be at the point where they can emotionally relate with the students and understand the turmoil they're going through. They're scared to ask a girl out for a date. They're scared about speaking in front of the class. And those are the things that are really important when it comes to the role of the teacher in the classroom. Awesome.
Well, on that, a couple things on that actually. Look, I think scalable teaching is phenomenal to give access to teaching to the world, access to a teacher to the entire world. I think Khan Academy is a phenomenal example for that because they made everybody in the world that has an internet connection has access to education. So on that side, I am happy that if this happens, that it can be used there, just because society is not ready to educate the entire world. However, I'm also, from a business perspective even, I look at those companies and I'm like, are you going to be successful? Is there demand for this? Because you take a look during COVID, all education went online. But post-COVID, most parents went straight back and they sent their kids in person. And all kids went back in person. And I asked these parents, as an online-first company, this is a very important question for us, because we thought everybody going online would be fantastic for us. We will be able to continue to teach everybody online. It will be more acceptable. It has become more acceptable, but we consistently still lose people who are saying they prefer in-person classes, which is their prerogative. So if we're still struggling with convincing somebody to do in-person versus online, how can we take that person and convince them real teacher versus fake teacher? You know, it's so many more steps away. So I don't know where the demand is going to come from either. Or I mean, I know I wouldn't send my child to a fake teacher, an AI teacher, and I wonder if we ask the parents here, would they be willing to send their child to a bot teacher?